Sanitary sewer, air testing, repair, replacement, Beaver Creek Mini Basin BC7 project, public meeting. The public meeting had to be canceled due to the coronavirus. It was scheduled to be held on March 24th at the Devonshire Church. The township is providing this YouTube video of the presentation so members of the community can view this presentation on our webpage. My name is Bill Weaver. I'm the Sewer Department Director. I'll be providing part of the presentation along with.
My name is Tim Nolt. I'm the Sewer Department Engineer.
Okay, so we have a 30-minute PowerPoint presentation. Residents will then be able to ask questions on My New Sewer at lowerpaxton.com. The presentation can be viewed on our webpage at lowerpaxtonatwork.com. Property owners are part of the project team, along with the Board of Supervisors and the Sewer Authority Board. Brad Gutschall is the Township Manager. The Sewer Department staff includes myself, Tim Nolt, Jim Wetzel, Operations Supervisor. John Dibler is our I&I Coordinator who will be doing the house inspections. Glenn McCoy, who will be the construction crew leader that will be doing the private sewer replacements. Eric Morgan is the inspection leader. Chris Mayer is our secretary, administrative staff rep, who will be handling all of your agreements and scheduling the inspections. Hannah Brown will be out occasionally to do some GIS technician work. Our consulting engineers, GHD, Kevin Shannon is the project manager. Barry Wampler and Mitch Collins are the design engineers, and Melissa Smith is the project engineer. We also have a consulting township engineer for the stormwater portion of the work. That is HRG, and Jason Hines is the project manager. Some of the project activities: observation tee installation and testing, township crews or contractor, coordination with township staff. Emergency services include police, ambulance, school district bus coordinators, and other utilities including gas, water, electric, cable. Why we were here and doing this presentation is that we recognized a I&I problem with overflowing manholes, sewer basement backups, and exceeding capacity limits at the Swadera and Harrisburg treatment plant. That started in 1993. After that, in 95, PADEP issued a clean stream violation, and we had to enter into a consent decree. We had several amendments to that, so now it is called the Second Amendment to the consent decree. The requirements for this basin include replacement and rehab of asbestos, cement, and clay sanitary sewers that have reached their useful life. Most of the sewers in this area are 50 years old or more. We have to test and replace or repair PV sewers that fail an air test and are contributing unacceptable amounts of flow, including private sewers. PVC sewers in BC7 and BC8 were metered in 2018, and all PVC areas showed excessive I&I. And I failed to mention that is the only group of people that are invited to this public meeting. The project will have 3 public meetings, but the people that were scheduled to come to this public meeting were all PVC customers. In addition, for the Second Amendment, we have to eliminate overflows and basement backups by 2028, reduce sewer system hydraulic overload by 2033, which means reducing the flow in the system so that it will properly function without any backups or overflows. We may have to build storage tanks for eliminating overflows and hydraulic overload. We did purchase a piece of property on Conway Road that is between Kendall Oaks and the township landfill. So a little bit about the project area. This is a sewer index map that basically shows the streets and the sewers in the street, also the sewers that exit the street. This project again is for BC7, which includes those mini basins A, B, C, and D. Project also includes areas of BC 8B and 8C. So PVC areas were temporarily metered at manholes denoted by the blue circles. Essentially, what we try to do is we try to eliminate areas from construction if possible. Our GHD engineer, metering staff, along with our own township staff, have gone out to all PVC areas, and some areas are eliminated if they have low flow. Unfortunately, this area for your neighborhood has exhibited high flows, which is, again, why we're here tonight. As part of the Second Amendment, we have to reduce the flows. And this is a little bit of the data that was found as part of those metering locations. The goal is to have 1,000 gallons per EDU. Sewers design peak I&I flows. That's groundwater infiltration into a sewer that is expected over the life of the sewer. We have to be at 1,000. You can see that the peak flows exceed that amount: 3,700, 3,500, 5,000, and 9,000. So a little bit about the process and what you can expect. The first step is we conduct this neighborhood meeting. Then we receive the private sewer air testing, repair, and replacement agreements. We perform house inspections. We install the observations tees if not present. TV the laterals and building sewers to locate tees, pipe type, buried cleanouts. Then we test the laterals and building sewers. Then we do the repair and replace and rehab of the laterals and building sewers that failed the air test. Township crews will also be testing sewer mains and manholes and will make any repairs or rehabs needed. Some digging within streets may be required. Some mains or manholes may be lined. The end of the process, we restore areas affected by construction. Yards will be hydroseeded by a subcontractor. Concrete will be repaired by a subcontractor. We perform the final restoration, and then we monitor for long-term success. So a little bit about the scheduled milestones. The first thing we want to do through March and May is receive the agreements from the residents. We will then conduct building inspections. We'll go over that a little later. The building inspections are required to locate the sewer. Then we do the testing and repair replacement of the private sewers that we have scheduled to take about a year based on the size of the project. And then final completion is scheduled for September 2021. So a little bit about what to expect and a little bit about the understanding of what a typical sewer layout is. You can see at the bottom of the slide, homeowners' responsibility. Every township is different. It's about 50% around the state where the township does not own any of the private sewer. In some townships, they do own the service lateral. In Lower Paxton, the ordinance that was passed with the original sewer installation provided that the building sewer and the service lateral be owned by the property owner. The theory about this is that township crews do not have the proper equipment to maintain these private sewers. We do have equipment to maintain the mainline sewers. So that's sort of why we're here tonight. We have a homeowner's responsibility and authority's responsibility. Fortunately, we'll go through as part of this presentation that the township, because it's under a consent decree, is able to provide a sewer replacement at no cost to the property owner for their responsibility. A little bit more about the process. We need to come in as part of the house inspection and look for illegal sump pumps. This is a diagram to show what a legal sump pump should look like. You can see where the stone area is to the right of the slide, where it provides a weep hole for drain back. So essentially the sump pump that's in your basement should be pumping out into a pervious area with a weep zone to allow the water to filtrate back into the ground. We have in the past had plumbers hook in sump pumps directly into the sewer system, which can cause an excessive I&I issue in that neighborhood. Most of the sump pumps have been removed over the last 20 to 30 years, but that will be part of the inspection to make sure they weren't rehooked up. Okay, what kind of disruption can be expected during the construction on your property? A little bit of details about that. So this is a service lateral and building sewer diagram that you received as part of your agreement. This is a typical building sewer replacement detail, and the building sewer spec that we have for contractors and that we have to follow is provided to all residents to have a better understanding of what the sewer is going to look like when it's replaced. A little bit about the air testing. So because PVC sewers are today's standard, PVC sewers are not automatically replaced. We like to salvage that part of the sewer system if possible and save costs and disruption to the homeowners. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the observation tee, which is note 1. From the observation tee, we will then install a plug and we'll air test from the observation tee to the main, and then we will air test from that note 1 observation tee to the house. If they all pass, then we'll move forward to the next property. If either section fails the air test, it has to be replaced. It has to pass an air test standard of 5 pounds for 5 minutes with no drop in air. So a little bit about an observation tee. Every resident will most likely have to have this because the old PVC sewers had typically a 4-inch clean out without a double sweep tee, so you can't get a camera or an air plug into that old tee setup. So this is a picture of what is called a double sweep tee, and just as it sounds, we can sweep both ways with a camera and a plug. So this will be the first thing that will be installed on your property at the curb. The observation tee casting, typically what was done in the past is you had just a plastic riser that typically got broken. They get holes in it, they're hit by lawnmowers, that sort of thing. So we went with a actual steel casting cover, and this is just a diagram. It basically just sits on top of the plastic cap and is put at grade level. And now I'll turn it over to Tim.
Yeah, and on the video, you have to play. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a little bit of the process of what you'll actually see on your property as far as between the street and the house. You can see here the initial excavation. There's going to be generally a pipe, a private sewer that runs. If you have a sidewalk, it's going to go underneath the sidewalk, and you can see the restoration work that's typically performed in this area. So again, we have various different obstacles that we have to work around. You can see the buried utilities here. So, you know, every situation is a little different, but I'm going to move in and talk a little bit more about the yard restoration and focus on that portion. Here's just some photos, you know, what you might expect during construction. You can see the contractor here is using a shoring box and just their protection for the trench as they're working. We're going to be probably generally within 3 feet of of your house, replacing that pipe up to that point. And this is just again showing that restoration that needs to take place. You can see the trench that goes underneath the concrete sidewalk and to the house, and the clean out casting here that's near between the curb and the sidewalk. So then just to go through the yard restoration portion, this is that same property after that all the restoration work is completed. So this handout here, we put this together just to provide property owners with a little more information about the whole process. You know, it is a process that we have to go through. Obviously, our crew that's going to be performing this work, as Bill said, is going to be responsible for all the yard, all the concrete restoration. So this walks you through the process of the yard restoration. Each resident will receive a copy of this once yard restoration is completed. And what it goes through is just basically what our process is, and I'll go through that in more detail here, and also provides you with some additional details on, you know, how to care for your new lawn once we're gone. So again, our lawn restoration contractor will take care of removing any of the large particles, roots, stones, anything that's going to prevent the grass from growing. And once they have that completed, then they're going to install a layer of screen topsoil, and they're going to use a hydroseeding approach. And basically what that is a slurry mix of seed, fertilizer, lime in some cases, and mulch, and that's sprayed on top of the topsoil. The reason we use the hydroseeding approach is we find that, you know, it provides for better germination. But you know, if you take nothing else away from this presentation here today, we want you to be aware that, you know, we're responsible for all the yard restoration, but what we're asking property owners to do is to water the lawns, and that's the most important part of getting good germination. So this video here just basically shows the process that we walk you through in the handout that we'll provide after everything is completed. Shows various days, you know, starting out. This is going through using the steps we've outlined for you. You know, with proper watering, this is what you can expect. And about, you know, here I say 23 days the grass is ready for mowing. It's going to depend on, you know, the different weather conditions and so on and so forth. But you can see on this slide here, day 26, we have good germination. The grass is starting to get thick, but there's weeds that are getting in there. The key, again, to the watering, to, you know, following the steps in the handout, is so that you get to a point, you know, this is 37 days in, the lawn's ready to be fertilized again. So the handout will walk you through the process to get you to this point. You can see there's still some areas that are a little bit bare and need some work, but for the most part, it's a thick lawn, and it's going to do its best to kind of choke out those weeds that could be an issue. So again, watering is the most critical component of this whole process. And here we have an example of a lawn that was watered, and then the next slide, a lawn where the property owner neglected watering. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Bill.
Okay, we just have a few more slides to give you an update on what other things you can expect on construction on your property. Replacing and testing service lines process, homeowners can still use the toilets and sinks while their service is being tested or replaced. Homeowners should not use washing machines, dishwashers, and showers while their service is being tested or replaced. Also, for obstructions, what to expect. As provided in the agreement, any affected bushes, flowers, gardens, etc. to be preserved must be moved by the homeowner prior to construction. Trees determined to be obstructions to sewer replacement will be removed at the township's expense. As part of the house inspection that John Dobler will be doing, he will provide more information when he determines where the sewer is at your property of what tree would have to be removed, and that's a separate contract. And it can also help you make determinations on if you have flowers or gardens in the way that you want to move out of the way. Fences, if the sewers go around the back, normally fences are not in the front yard. Any fences that impact construction must be temporarily moved and replaced by the homeowner if they want to guarantee that the fence is replaced in its original condition. If the fence is not moved prior to construction, it will be moved and replaced by township crews. The original condition is not guaranteed, but they normally do a pretty good job with that. Private property owner responsibilities. So we ask that you execute and return the private sewer air testing, repair, and replacement agreement, schedule an inspection, remove any obstructions that you wish to preserve, and replace after it is complete. Also, notify Lower Paxton Township staff of any underground utilities installed by property owner, including gas, water, electric for swimming pools, dog fences, water lines for sprinkler systems, and electric for landscape lighting. Water grass after planting is complete. So a little bit about what is required for this project. We have 178 private sewer air testing, repair, and replacement agreements. Agreement discussion to be held at the end of the presentation. I will just go over the letter that you would have received along with the agreement. A little bit about the total project. So total sewer repair replacement plan includes replacement rehab of 65% of the total sewer system in Lower Paxton, which includes Paxton Creek, Beaver Creek, Spring Creek, and Asylum Run. Also, as part of the consent decree, we may have to build storage tanks in both Paxton and Beaver Creek. The cost estimate for this project is $14,200,000, $13,400,000 for construction, and $800,000 for the township I&I crew, which is the 178 properties that we're talking about today. So the benefits: we have a 50-year-old public sewer system that's going to be replaced and rehabbed, including private sewers. The community asset is maintained and preserved, and the environment is protected by the elimination of overflows and basement backups. Not part of this project, the storm sewer system generally will not be replaced or extended as part of this private sanitary sewer replacement project. However, the township is currently evaluating storm sewer replacements in the Meadowbrook development and adjacent Tyler Drive area. Civic Ready, as part of our new webpage software, we have a Civic Ready program. Township will be utilizing the Civic Ready program for public notifications. If interested, homeowners must provide a cell phone number or email address as part of the private sewer replacement agreement. At the bottom, there is an area there for you to put in your cell phone and your email address. So that concludes our presentation. I wanted to just go over a little bit about the letter that you should have received for the private sewer replacement project. The neighborhood meeting was scheduled for March 24th and had to be canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak. Specifically, the meeting has been canceled due to the closure of the Devonshire Church as a result of the CDC recommendations that all large gatherings be discontinued. This is why we have this YouTube presentation for the residents to see and hear what to expect as part of the project. If you have questions about anything that was presented today by Tim and I, you can just email us at mynewsewer@lowerpaxton.com, and Tim and I and other staff and engineers will respond to your questions. The Township Emergency Management Coordinator continues to carefully monitor the coronavirus outbreak, and we will issue updates on the BC7 project as information becomes available. Based on the current conditions in our community and the level of outbreak in Dauphin County, the project is still on schedule to begin in July 2020. So the township requests that the previously transmitted agreement be executed and returned to the township within 30 days of your receipt of this letter. You may return the executed agreement with the previously transmitted self-addressed stamped envelope, or email the executed agreement to our secretary, Kristen Mayer, at cmayor@lowerpaxton-pa.gov. We ask that you please return the entire agreement. A copy of the agreement is available upon request. If you have lost or misplaced the agreement, please contact Christine Mayer at 717-657-5623 or email Christine at cmayor@lowerpaxton-pa.gov, and we will resend the agreement. Also, to facilitate the private sewer air testing and repair and replacement, it will be necessary to schedule an inspection of the inside property to locate the connection of the private sewer line to the building house. These inspections may be delayed due to the coronavirus outbreak. However, in the interim, please contact Christine Mayer at 657-5623 to schedule the inspection. Again, if you have questions or concerns not addressed in this letter that we provided or this YouTube presentation, if you couldn't see it, you're obviously seeing it, please call John Dobler or Jim Wetzel, Tim Nolt, or myself. And we thank you in advance for your cooperation. So finally, the most received questions by the township on the private sewer replacement agreement is the hold harmless provision. And we always want to tell residents at these public meetings that that does not bar the property owner from filing suit against the contractor. This is just holding harmless the township itself. We will have a construction crew that will be doing the sewer replacements if it fails an air test. We will actually also be doing the observation tee installation and the air testing itself. If there's any damages on your property, you are eligible to still file an insurance claim against the township. So it wouldn't be good PR for us to damage someone's property and not replace any damages if it was to our negligence. So we encourage you to ask questions at mynewsewer@lowerpaxton.com, and we hope that our presentation has helped you in understanding our project. Thank you.